Hello everyone, my name is Ecstasy Ewok, and welcome to a really quick video where I'm going to answer a lot of the questions that you guys have over my DIY Scuf video. Now, the absolute #1 question I get asked are, where do the wires go? Alright, if you want the A and the B buttons like a regular Scuf, wire on top, wire on top. Now, if that is not working, go to the bottom, because certain controllers, the current's in the bottom and not the top. Now, from there, they go to the back of the controller. And on the back of the controller, you'll have a button. So I have an extra one laying around somewhere. Let's see. You have a button that looks something like this, but taller. Like you'll have one up to here. You do it like this. See how those two are side by side and not like that? You want two of them that are side by side. It doesn't matter which two, but as long as they're side by side. So either this side or this side. You want one end of the wire to come from here to here. And then the other end of the wire to go from here to here. The middle pin of the trigger. That is the trigger pin. I know your trigger's up here, but it's got a mechanism where it squeezes the button thing at the bottom. So you want A to go from top to here, then from here to here. Trying that in focus. That is how you do it. All right. And you do the same thing for Y if you want the two buttons up here. Y goes from the bottom pad here, up here to here, and then from here it goes back down and here. And you got that? And the reason is because these two, A and Y, are on this side. You know, A and Y, these two right here, are on the right side of the controller. So you use the right trigger pin so you don't have to have so many wires running across the controller. On the other side, you run wire from B, top of B, to here. So from B to here, and then from here to the left middle trigger pin, right there. Is that clear? And you do the same thing with X. X to there, and then from there to there. It is that simple. I mean, it is really, really simple. I can't stress that enough. That is one question I'm constantly asked. Another question is people say that they have a hard time getting the solder to stick to the things. What you do is you take a razor blade, you scratch off, as you can see, like you scratch off like I have there. You put you put solder on the end of your wire. So let me find a wire, like this wire. See how it's got silver on the end of it? It's a copper wire and it's got silver on the end of it. That means it has solder on it. You put the solder on it, and then you put solder on there before you start try to put the wire on there, because that way you have solder and solder. And then you put the wire on there and you touch the end of the soldering gun to it for just a second, and it'll bond the solder together. Don't make any sort of sudden movements, and just hold it there and it'll bond the solder together. It's that simple. Another thing is people that they were saying that a lot of times after they use the regular buttons, the push buttons, when they actually push down on them enough, it'll break their solder up here. Yes, I realize that. Take hot glue. Let me clean off my hot glue gun real quick. Take hot glue and just give it an itty bitty dab at the head of the wire. So the very tip of the wire, right where the copper and the rubber from the wire meet, just dab it with hot glue. You want an itty teeny bit. You don't want much at all. What that'll do is even if the solder breaks, it will keep your wire from moving much. So when you you'll actually hold a connection. If that makes any sense. Probably doesn't to a lot of you, but that's okay. And it's not because you're stupid, it's because I did a really bad job explaining it, by the way. So I'm trying to make it so you guys can see what I'm doing. Like right here, you want hot glue right here at the very end of the wire. That helps keep the wire compressed. But you do need to make sure you have it good and soldered. That can be difficult sometimes. All right. A lot of people ask me, what do you use for the paddles? And a lot of these questions I answered in my first video. The thing is, on my first video, if you go back and watch it, I'm not going to judge you for asking me common sense questions because the video is really bad because YouTube screwed it up. When I uploaded it, it looked just like this one. However, by the time that it got on YouTube, it said it was that YouTube had it. It said it was shaky, so I used YouTube shaky camera fix. And what it looks like is that I held the camera in my hand and stuff like that the whole time. That's not the case. YouTube did that, not me. So yeah. So people ask me, like, well, what do I use here? These are pin caps. They're off Big Market pins. Oops, sorry. You can get these at CVS, Walmart, anywhere else. Or you can get them off Amazon if you can't find them locally. They're perfect. They're absolutely perfect. And the ends of them down here are really nice on your fingers. See this little 3-line things? They are awesome feeling on your fingers. That's how you know that you're on the right spot. And if you can hear that, nice solid click. It's awesome. These buttons up here, you can get them off Radio Shack. All the parts are in the original video description. All of the parts. Everything. Another common question I get is, what size wire do you use? Okay. As you can see, it's right here. I count 1, 2, 3 different types of wires just on this side. It doesn't matter what type of wire you use as long as it's not too thick. A wire about like that, a really tiny wire, is ideal. Where you can get these? Let me see if I can find it. You can get these out of these USB cables. Find an old phone charger or something and take them out of that. If you don't have one, I guarantee you have one of these somewhere. This is telephone wire, like for old dial-up style phones, the phone jack style. If you slit, hang on a second, there we go. If you slit this open, hang on a second, let me, it's hard to do this in front of the camera because the camera's taking up a lot of my vision. Here we go. As you can see, I stripped off the end there. It's got a bunch of little wires inside of it. So you strip the whole thing down, and you're left with a bunch of little wires. All right? That's a good way to get wires. You can get them out of USB cables, old Ethernet cables, anything. So don't worry about that. All right, for the triggers, you want the hole for the trigger to be kind of near the top. As you can see on these. Like here's a trigger. You want the hole for the screw to be kind of high up. The reason is you want to have movement there. That right there is the minimum movement required to shoot a gun in Call of Duty. All right? Now, a lot of games, you'll have to take your trigger stops out. I have a screwdriver especially for these screws. All right? It's a star tip. You want to use a Phillips head or a flat head because that's probably what you have. I doubt you have a star tip screwdriver. All right. Another thing, this is not really related to the controller. People ask me, how do I record this? Okay, let me show you. Let me get my phone out. There we go. I have a tripod in front of me, and I stick my phone mount right like that. Get it back set up, and there you go. And I can see around it, so I can show you guys what to do. And you guys get an excellent view. That's another thing. A lot of people ask me, like, what size drill bit do you use on the holes when you're making them? Okay, there are only 2 drill bits you use. Let me see if I have them sitting around. This is one. This is a 564. This one is to make these itty bitty holes up top. See those? This makes those. All right. I don't know where my other drill bit is. I really don't want to locate it right now, but whichever one the 565th is not, you use to make these back holes for the buttons. Again, all the buttons and parts and tools are in the description of the original video. So there's that. People ask me why not have the rumble motors. The rumble motors, I mean, you could stuff all that wire that you see right here back inside the controller and it wouldn't bother it, and you can plug your rumble motors back in. I just don't like them. It makes the controller heavier. I don't like rumble at all anyways. So I take them off. So there's that. Let's see. People say that they solder accidentally to other points in the controller. Use masking tape. Let me show you here. Get you a piece of masking tape. And say I was soldering to the middle trigger pin. I would put masking tape around the top trigger pin and bottom trigger pin, and that would isolate them. Let me show you what happens when masking tape and a soldering iron meet together. Let me stick these on the end of my pliers here so I don't burn myself. You would think the soldering iron would melt through the masking tape. But is it? Absolutely not. Let me show you a better view of that. Did not melt through it. It burned it, but it didn't melt through it. In other words, your solder is going to be safe like that. So that's a good way to do that. That's about the only questions I can think of. People, oh yeah, there's one more. People ask me, why do I put buttons up here instead of the hairpin adjustable triggers? Because the hairpin adjustable triggers are stupid. All they do is Scuf puts their screw way up top, like at the very top, and this hairpin adjustable thing, you depress it so it has that much trigger room. I just put the damn trigger stop lower so you get the same effect. And I know people say, well, what if you want your springs looser or tighter? Take your controller apart, either snip the spring down, like this one right here, that makes it looser, or take one that's full size. This one's actually not full size, but stretch it out, and and stuff like that. That's how you make it, and you can set it the way you want it, because you're not going to adjust that a lot. I know how to do that, but I don't like it, so I didn't include it on my video. So there you go. Is this tournament legal? Absolutely not. You did this. They have no way of knowing if you modded your controller. So no, it is not tournament legal. But this is not what you want to use in a tournament. This is what you want to use for online play to keep up with the competition now that everybody has Scufs. It's that simple. What else? That's about all I can think of. You can do this to a wireless or a wired controller. People are all the time asking me, what does the finished product look like? Well, that. And let me show you mine. I didn't actually finish the one on my original Scuf video, so bear with me. But this is my controller. I don't have my FPS Freeks on it, but that's essentially my controller that I use, and it's got the same same modifications that you just saw. And the last question that I get asked is, will there be will I be able to do this to the Xbox One, PS3, or PS4 controllers? Yes, to all three of those. I've seen the inside of an Xbox One controller. It was leaked on the internet. You can Google it if you want to see it. And I can already tell what I can do. I know exactly what I can do. It'll work. I'll have it done and my tutorial uploaded the day after the Xbox One launches, if I can get one off release, which I'm pretty sure I can. So PS3 and PS4, I will not own either one of those. But essentially, it's pretty much similar. You can probably watch this and figure it out yourself. I can't tell you the contacts, but you are going to want to do the same thing with the buttons here. And you'll have to find a contact that works. You can do that just by experimenting with a wire. So, sorry I can't be of more help. I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there somewhere. So if you have any more questions, feel free to comment on this video or the original video, and I will help you. I am very, very responsive to my subscribers and people who just need help. And if this video helps you, please give it a like. Please give me a subscription and comment and tell me what you think. Go watch the original video if you haven't already. Give it a like, and yeah, that's all I can say. My name is Ecstasy Ewok. I hope you have a fantastic day, and again, please subscribe to my channel and give the video a like. I will see you guys later. Have fun out there with your new Scuf controller.